You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Reports Scoreboard Show, podcast number 283.1, your daily audio sports section featuring all the best sports from Central Indiana, the Pacers, Fever, IndyCar, the Colts, IU, Purdue, Ball State, and of course, the best high school sports coverage in Central Indiana.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to the Central Indiana Scoreboard Show, a show made for the best sports fans in the entire world. It's June 3rd, 2025, and it's another day for Central Indiana sports. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, podcasting today from Stage 22 in beautiful Elwood, Indiana. Producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in Jeffersonville. Coming up, the Pacers are just a couple of days away from their second NBA Finals in history. Plus, we've got all the local high school baseball sectional championship results coming up, along with some high school basketball, some high school golf, and a look ahead to high school softball and track and field. Before we get to that, though, I'm going to ask you to please go to our YouTube page and subscribe. We're doing all kinds of cool stuff there, so please do us a favor and go do that if you haven't done that yet. Also, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we will have Pacers Thunder NBA Finals previews with Mike Rich, John Robertson, and the entire crew. Plus, our first IU report in 3 weeks will be released on Tuesday afternoon. And we'll have Will Rutherford's special All Pacers 5 Questions That Need Answers. And our first Fever report with John Robertson and Michelle Garman on Wednesday. Plus, we'll continue to have baseball, softball, track and field, girls tennis, and coming up, boys golf previews and scoreboard shows as their postseason events happen. We are 2 days away from the Pacers' first NBA Finals appearance in 25 years. They opened the 2025 Finals in Oklahoma City on Thursday night at 8:30. The entire series can be seen on ABC. The Thunder are the 16th team in NBA history to win 80 games in a season, when you include the regular season and the playoffs. They swept the Grizzlies, beat the Nuggets in 7 games, then the Timberwolves in 5. The Pacers are 12-4 in the playoffs. It's their best playoff record through 16 games in franchise history, and they're the only team in this playoffs not to be eliminated or pushed to 7 games in a series. Still, the Pacers are just 5-1 odds to win the championship and are 10-point underdogs in Game 1. Of course, they started the playoffs something like 120-1 odds to win it all, so I wouldn't be too concerned about that. I would, however, be a little concerned about this Thunder team, which is really good. Again, we'll have Pacers coverage throughout the next couple of weeks, including at least 2 previews, maybe 3, that we're recording on Tuesday, plus continued Pacers coverage on the Scoreboard Show. Oak Hill, LaPel, Shenandoah, Wapahani, and University won 2A baseball sectional championships on Monday. Oak Hill scored 7 times in the 4th in a 10-1 win over Eastern for the program's first sectional championship in 19 years. LaPel beat Tipton 7-1 behind Kai Newman's one-hit performance. Wapahani blanked Eastbrook 4-0 for their first sectional championship under head coach Heath Dudley. Caleb Stalker threw an 8-inning shutout in University's 1-0 win over Park Tudor, and Drew Fredenberg and Chase Ozumbaugh hit back-to-back home runs in the first inning, and 7th-ranked Shenandoah went on to beat number 14 Hagerstown 6-2, the program's first sectional championship in 19 years. In Class 3A, Western beat Peru 10-0 for the Panthers' 22nd sectional championship, winning the sectional at Logansport. Ashton Castillo threw a 2-hit shutout, and Ryan Rodman hit a double, a triple, a home run, and had 4 RBIs for the 26-4 Panthers. Delta beat Hamilton Heights 13-0 at Yorktown to win back-to-back sectional titles for the first time since the 90s. Chase Ritchie threw 4 innings and allowed just 1 hit and struck out 9 for the Eagles. Number 3 New Pal won its 4th straight sectional championship, beating number 2 Roncalli 10-3. Liam Atkinson was 2 for 3 and hit his first home run of the season for the 23-3 Dragons. Garin Catholic won its first sectional title in 21 years by beating Brebeuf 5-3 in the semifinals on Monday. Then Crawfordsville 10-1 in the championship. Tate Troxel threw 6 innings, allowing just 1 run, and he struck out 10 for the Golden Eagles. In Class 4A, Jacob Walsh walked and scored the game's only run on an error at Greenfield Central's 1-0 win over the host Arabians in the Pendleton Heights Sectional Championship. Number 11 Westfield repeated as sectional champions with a 4-3 win over number 4 Fishers at Carmel. Ian Wilson was 3 for 4 with a double for the 22-9 Rocks. Anderson Prep entered the sectional with 1 win on the season and left with its first sectional championship in program history by beating rival Liberty Christian 6-3 Monday at home. Also in Class A, Clinton Prairie won its first sectional in 31 years by beating rival Clinton Central 13-3 behind Dylan Thomas's 3 for 4, 5 RBI day. And Northfield beat Cowan 10-9 to win the sectional at Westell. We will have so much for you on all of the sectionals from across the state on our boys sectional championship scoreboard. Look for that about 3 o'clock on Tuesday. Blackford Rising sophomore Mari Leggett had 24 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and a couple of steals to lead the North to a 123-113 win over the South in the boys basketball futures game Monday at Fishers. Merrillville's Charles Hardiman had 18 points on 7 of 10 shooting, and Oak Hill junior Jay Stonigal made his only field goal attempt, and that was a 3. Garin junior Jake Grissom led the South with 18 points. Plainfield junior Harper Baker Lands had 16 points, 4 assists, and 3 steals. Fishers junior Cooper Zachary finished with 15 points. He was 5 for 10 from deep with 8 assists and 4 rebounds in front of his home crowd. And Warren Central junior J.J. Craig had 15 points and 4 assists. Liberty Christian junior Kendrick Martin contributed 12 points and 5 rebounds. In the girls' game, the North won 106-92 behind 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 steals from Eastern Hancock junior Mackenzie Koch. Plainfield junior Hannah Minzer added 13 points and 5 assists, and Mount Vernon sophomore Zoe Wood had 9 points and 3 steals. Marion sophomore Naomi Hahn finished with 18 points. She was 6 for 7 from the field, made both of her 3-point attempts, and had 4 rebounds. Snyder sophomore Janiah Cooper finished with 16 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks, 3 assists, and a steal. McCutcheon junior Lily Graves had 14 points. Fisher sophomore Riley Shellhammer finished with 13 points and 4 rebounds. And Pendleton Heights Rising junior Ada Hupfer finished with 10 points and 13 rebounds. The Indiana-Kentucky Junior All-Star Game was held Monday at the Charlestown Athletic Arena. Indiana beat Kentucky 106-64 in the girls' game. 5 Hoosiers scored in double figures, and 4 more scored 9 points. They were led by Brooklyn Wren of Silver Creek with 14 points. Hamilton Southeastern's Kennedy Holman added 13 points and 5 boards. Mount Vernon's Luke Ertl scored 36 points and had 13 assists to lead the Indiana boys to a 119-108 win over Kentucky. Lawrence North's Kai McGrew had 23 points on 9 of 11 shooting and 8 rebounds. And Noblesville's Justin Curry contributed 10 points and 6 boards to the win. On Wednesday, the Indiana All-Stars will play the Junior All-Stars at Greenfield, home, of course, of Mr. Basketball Braylon Mullins. Then the Indiana All-Stars will play the Kentucky All-Stars Friday in Lexington and Saturday at the Fieldhouse in downtown Indianapolis. The Fever and Mystics kick off the WNBA Commissioner's Cup and an in-season tournament played over the next couple of weeks during the NBA Finals. with a 7 o'clock game Tuesday at the Fieldhouse. A team from each pool will advance to the Commissioner's Cup Championship and play for a $500,000 prize pool. The Lynx won last year's initial cup 94-89 over the eventual world champion Liberty. Indiana has lost 3 straight, including an 83-77 loss to the Mystics in Baltimore last week. Of course, they have been without superstar Caitlin Clark for the last couple of games and expected to be for the next week or so. She is out with a thigh injury. Former Dream and Spark star Ari McDonald signed with the Fever on Monday. McDonald averaged 8.7 points and 3.7 assists last year in Los Angeles. We will have the debut of our Fever Report with John Robertson and Michelle Garman for you on Wednesday afternoon, assuming everything goes to plan. IndyCar had its third post-race inspection failure in just over a week, when Santino Ferrucci's runner-up Voigt car was found to have been under the required weight by 1.5 pounds. However, Ferrucci's career-best second-place finish will stand. His Voigt team has been fined $25,000, and he's been punished 25 championship points, including the 2 Penske drivers who were moved to the back of the Indy 500 starting grid for failing inspection during qualifying. That's 5 cars punished for illegal setups in the last 3 weeks. That's more than I can remember in my lifetime. My guess isn't there isn't more cheating than usual going on, just probably a crackdown. The next Indy race is June 15th, a Sunday night race in the St. Louis suburbs. A 1.25 mile racetrack, the Worldwide Technology Raceway, otherwise known as Gateway, the series' second oval this year. The high school golf, New Pal won the sectional preview event at Hawkstail on Monday, edging Greenfield Central by a stroke with an 18-hole round of 316. Tri was third, Eastern Hancock fourth, Newcastle fifth, and Shenandoah sixth. Josiah Kissel led the Dragons with an 18-hole round of 77. Newcastle shot a .287 to beat Center Grove by 10 strokes in the Yorktown Tiger Classic. Eastbrook and Westfield both shot 300s, the tie for third, and Brownsburg was fifth. Guerin Catholic finished its regular season with a championship in the Southwood Invitational. Andrew Williamson, Johnny Quinn, and Connor Trice went 1, 2, 3 for the Golden Eagles. And there are 7 local softball regionals on Tuesday. We start in Class 2A, where number 2 Alexandria takes on number 4 LaPel. The Tigers are 19-1 on the year. The Bulldogs are 22-6. Alexandria has never won a regional. LaPel won its first ever last year and went on to win a semi-state as well. First pitch is scheduled for 6 o'clock. LaPel beat Alexandria 4-2 in last year's sectional championship, but Alexandria won 5-1 this year on April 17th behind Brinley Humphrey's complete game 4-hitter. She allowed just 1 run and struck out 13. Also Tuesday in Class 2A, number 14 Rochester will take on number 9 Rossville. The Zebras are 21-4, the Hornets 22-5. They've won 3 regionals in a row, including last year when they won the Class A state championship. First pitch in that one is also 6 o'clock. Number 6 Yorktown is at number 3 Western. Yorktown is 20-4, Western 26-3. The Panthers, of course, are the reigning state champions, and they beat Yorktown 11-6 on April 17. Also in Class 3A, 20-4 Mississinawa will face 18-9 Dwenger. And number 2 New Pal is at number 8 Cascade. New Pal has won 3 regionals in a row. Cascade, of course, was last year's 2A state champion. The Dragons are 25-4, Cascade 21-5. Should be a good one. In Class A, Clinton Prairie is at number 1 Riverton Park. Clinton Prairie's 19-8, Riverton Park 25-4. That one is at 7 o'clock. And in Class 4A, 13-15, Lawrence North goes to 18-7, Greenfield Central. Greenfield Central beat the Wildcats 8-3 on May 23rd. Noblesville's 4A Regional Championship at Harrison is on Wednesday. Look for our softball regional preview later Tuesday morning. And high school track, the performance list is out for the state finals, and Fisher Sam Quagliori is the top seed in the boys 3,200 meters at Friday state finals at North Central. Quagliori, a senior, was the cross-country state champion in the fall. And Hamilton Southeastern's Ella Blackmore and Chloe Senefeld are seeded 1 and 2 in the 300 hurdles for Saturday's state finals. And Carmel is the top seed in the 4x400 and the 4x800 relays. Pendleton Ice has a pair of number 2 seeds, freshman Anya Zeller in the 1600 and defending 3,200 meter state champion Ava Jarrell. We will preview the boys and girls track and field state finals later this week. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana sports. Thank you so much for listening. Always appreciate it. Do us a huge favor and share this podcast with your friends and family. I mean, they don't have to be a friend and family. It could be a stranger. It could be an enemy, whatever. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.